with Joy Taylor today. Next hour, Joel Klatt, Kenyon Martin, Mike Pouncey of the Chargers. Sustainability is a real thing. My mom went on a lot of diets. My mom was always on a diet. And I used to tell my mom, just like, walk around a little more, eat healthier. You don't need diets. I don't buy into diets. I never have. I remember years and years ago they had the Atkins diet, which was eat a T-bone steak and fried eggs, no vegetables, no grains, just eat that and you'll lose weight. The good news is you lost weight. The bad news is you had a heart attack at 33, but at least you were skinny. I don't buy into like Andrew Dice Clay. He was a shtick comic. Hickory dickory dock. Hey, how you doing? That's not sustainable. It gets hot, but eventually not good enough content. Dane Cook, not good enough content. You know what works in comedy? Leno writes jokes. Bill Maher writes jokes. Chris Rock writes jokes. Seinfeld wrote jokes. They last for 40 years. It's good content. That's what works. Not hickory dickory dock. Hey, I'm going to make rhymes with vulgarity. That doesn't last. So when I look at Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens, by the way, I'm all in. I think it's fun. I'm in the interesting business. He's way more interesting than Joe Flacco. He's fun to watch. But I keep going back to this. He's 6'2", 209. He's skinny. Michael Vick said yesterday, quarterbacks, we're not used to getting hit all the time. It shakes you up a little bit. I'm not saying that should deter Lamar or scare him. I'm just saying proceed with caution. I've seen RG3, Vince Young, Vick, Tim Tebow. I've seen him run around, and I've seen all the media fall in love with him. But I always go back to sustainability. Bitcoin is not sustainable. Not a single centralized bank in the world recognized Bitcoin. I'm not saying you can't get rich on it if you hit the timing right. Apple, Google, Facebook, Berkshire Hathaway, okay? Those are sustainable stocks. Hickory dickory dock, nursery rhymes, and swearing is not sustainable for 30 years. Segways, the wildcat offense, the run and shoot. So I've always been interested. Like, I'm in on him. I think he's fun to watch. I like Lamar Jackson, but Michael Vick started talking about him yesterday, and he was on our show. And I'm just somebody that believes when you buy into something, how long is it going to last? Because there's a lot of things I've seen in my life. People fall for those scooters, those Segways, Andrew Dice Clay, the Atkins diet. I see him fall for Bitcoin, the wildcat offense. And Tim Tebow and the world, this is the future. No, the future of NFL quarterbacks is guys that can throw the ball accurately from the pocket. And in 2018, I like him to have a little mobility. I like Carson Wentz. I like Andrew Luck. I like Deshaun Watson. I like to run around a little bit. But Michael Vick talked about Lamar. It's funny because he's talking about him yesterday, and he's fun. But is it a fad diet? 6'2", 209 guy, skinny guy running around the field. Here's Michael Vick.
I think the most I've run was 15 times in a football game.
That's it.
Yeah, I never ran for maybe in the 2-game span close to 27 carries, but that's still a lot on your body. It takes a toll on you. Maybe 10, because I knew at some point I was going to get some pressure, escape, use my ability to be effective in the game. But as I got older, I wanted at least amount of runs in the game plan because I didn't want to put myself in jeopardy or harm's way.
By the way, Greg Williams, who is loud, old school, bottom line, is working for a month in Cleveland. I don't think he's sustainable. Greg Williams as a head coach. As an interim coach, I think Greg Williams is sustainable. Loud, my way, old school, rigid. You want to deal with that for 6 years? Now, 6 weeks. We've all had the fun substitute teacher. Everybody loves the substitute teacher. She's funny, he's funny, no homework. But your teacher's sustainable, not the substitute teacher. That's why he or she's a substitute. I'll tell you that my favorite movie of all time is Silence of the Lambs. It's a very scary movie. I've seen it 42 times. It's my favorite movie of all time. That is kind of creepy. It's about serial killers. But Jonathan Demme was the director of that movie. And when Jonathan Demme was making that movie with Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster, he made a decision that he felt this was going to be an all-time great movie, that people would watch it 30 years later. He was right. So Jonathan Demme said, listen, I'm going to dress all the actors in non-stylish clothes, very generic clothes. Why? Sustainability. When you watch it in 30 years,
it's not going to feel dated.
It's not going to feel dated. So some movies, which are just going to make some money, they're not all-time classics. You don't have great actors or a script. You can seduce or really direct it toward the current hot style. Maybe in the zeitgeist, it kind of hits, it's funny, it's hot, but it doesn't last. When he was making Silence of the Lambs, his whole theory was, this is an all-time great movie. I want people to watch this 40 years from now and it not feel dated. And if you watched it tomorrow, it does not feel dated. He wanted to make a sustainable classic that would wear well over time. That's right. You know, it is. And the other thing about having a running quarterback, your backup, because you're going to draft for him, build your line for him, your backup has to be a running quarterback too. That's why I think guys like RG3 and Tebow always had a career in this league. You know, there's always going to be a need for a backup to a running quarterback. All right, next hour, buy, sell, hold, Joel Klatt. And Jerry Jones made the right move, whether you Cowboy haters want to believe it or not. Next.